What's up, guys? This is Ty Zen. I'm broadcasting from the Bitcoin, blockchain, Ethereum, cryptocurrency, super duper conference in Dallas, in the great country of Texas. We're surrounded by this other country called America, right? And with me today, I have David Fong. Say hello, David.
Hey, guys.
Right? And then with me also, we have a special guest, right? His name is Nichols. We met for the first time here today, right? He approached us, was telling us about the tax stuff that he was doing, which is extremely interesting because many of you guys know recently we went to Puerto Rico to do some research on some taxes and stuff. So we're always interested in reducing our taxes. We're not trying to break the law or anything. We try to follow the tax laws, but we also try to do our best to pay the least amount of taxes as we can, right?
Absolutely.
So before we get started here, Nathan, you're the CEO and co-founder of TaxToken.io.
Yes.
Before we talk about what your project is about and the products and the services that you have to offer to the cryptocurrency community, can we let's share a little bit about your background? What do you do? What is your background? Real quick. I'll help you out.
So background about me, I'm pretty young, obviously, 23, just graduated college. Instead of doing a
Which
job,
college?
James Madison University.
Okay.
So instead of going to KPMG, and I was going to specialize in international tax code, mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
I was actually sitting down in my audit class or in my tax class with my professors that both have their PhDs and been in the industry for 20 years. I was being super frustrated by the fact that there were so many inefficiencies, and I was literally learning things that I knew the blockchain was going to solve in the next couple of years. So I went up to them eventually and said, hey, is this going to change everything? And they said, yeah, accounting jobs are probably going to be 20 or 30% lower in the next 5 or 10 years. And at that point, I was like, I got to run with this. So spent 90 hours every week for the last 9 months building this product while still going to college. Graduated and got a lot of investments in the company, and now we're here trying to help people do their taxes for free.
Okay, awesome. So you went to school to learn about finances and taxes, and now you're applying it towards the cryptocurrency space instead of going out there trying to get a 9-to-5 job. So that's we want to congratulate you for that.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, you're solving a big problem.
Yeah.
We've been working on our tax laws.
Yeah.
The laws are changing, so we definitely want to know if there's an automated way to do it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So first of all, before we get started with about what tax token is, I want to say that congratulations on taking this plunge. I know that's not easy because when you finish college, your parents, your family, your friends are telling you to go get the 9-to-5 job. No one's telling you to go pursue your dreams. So in case you don't know, on our channel, we hate going to college. Unless you're a professional, in case you were going for a professional licensing, you do need to go to college. But unless you're going to be, to a profession where it requires licensing from the government, we do not believe in college. We believe in going out there to do the work that's out there and then learning it in the field. So we are very happy and supportive of people who willing to take the plunge and take that dive into the entrepreneurial world, right? So let's talk about the tax token, right? What is the problem that you see in regards to cryptocurrency related taxes that inspired you to start this project?
Yeah, absolutely. So originally, I got into Ethereum in February of last year. So about 10 or 15 bucks. Yeah, nice. It was a good bet for some of my friends. I got into it originally because I saw JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley endorse it. And I was like, okay, if these guys are putting their name on the line for this, it's got to be something big. But so, just like everybody who got in a bit early, the investments were good. People saw, the growth in their portfolios. And me being a tax guy, I was literally like, how do I calculate this? I'm doing, it was pretty easy when it came to Ethereum. You just had like one transaction. But when I started trading it and doing that daily, you were spending hours reconciling every week your taxes, and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Wow, you actually reconciled your trades after every week? That's incredible.
Well, yeah, so when I first started it, I wanted to make sure that I had them done, and then as long as I kept up with it, it was like, 20 or 30 trades, but yeah, it would take, 2 or 3 hours every weekend. As you guys said, I was learning to be certified by the government, specialized, but other people, they don't know that. They don't know the tax laws, so when all of the ERC20 tokens started really coming out, And in that case, I was like, well, these are going to be all multiple different transactions with different like cryptographic keys for every transaction, and it's going to be thousands of different forms because the 8949 form has to have every specific transaction logged. And so I was thinking, well, what if you have miners? What if you have arbitrage traders? What if you have anything like that?
Or even staking payments.
Yeah, absolutely. It literally just couldn't be done unless you were paying CPAs literally thousands of dollars.
Well, so in addition to staking, there's all these forks that we're having, and many CPAs weren't even equipped to even understand this. So I can understand your frustration.
Yeah. So there are CPAs here today that are saying, you know, you can do like-kind exchanges with cryptocurrencies when it's been deemed by the IRS that you can't do that. That it's for just land and, you know, like brick-and-mortar assets. But so anyways, we saw this problem, and I tried to calculate my taxes for a bunch of different cryptocurrencies, got frustrated, and I was like, we got to make sure we can fix this. And so a bunch of my buddies, we got together, we created a website that did not look nearly as good as our website does now. We didn't have any funding, but we created 2 provisional patents. What our project does is we don't only look at the API keys from the exchanges, we also go through Etherscan or different blockchain scanners, and when there's a hole in the transaction, say for example you're going from like Coinbase and then you get onto Binance because you want to trade altcoins, when you do that transfer of Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever coin you choose, we're going to scan the blockchain transaction too, so you don't lose your cost basis. Which means that you're going to keep your long-term capital gains. Is that a big deal? Well, it can be up to 20% of your entire portfolio, and your gains could be extra taxed if you don't have the basis to calculate.
Wait, okay, so let me make sure I understand you correctly, right? So to help our audience understand how the tax laws or the taxes work in the U.S., it may be a little bit different in the country that you guys are in, but if you guys understand what Nathan is saying here about how the taxes work in America, you can pretty much get a good idea how it'll probably work in the other Western countries too, because it's very somewhat similar. Okay, so every time I make and we're gonna go based on from January 2018 on forward, tax laws on forward. Okay.
Okay.
So if I purchase a cryptocurrency, the minute that I sell it or the minute I convert it to another cryptocurrency, that creates a taxable event.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
I think that it would be good to talk about 2017. I know that the laws have changed, but a lot of people are doing their taxes.
Okay, let's start with that then. Yeah.
Yeah. So
talk about how it was.
Yeah. So basically, there's a lot of gray area, and the IRS was trying to have you put like a good faith effort in because they weren't clear on it. So originally, people thought that you could have, you know, crypto to Tether back to crypto, which was a big transaction that would happen on like Bittrex, right? Yeah. And so, or Bitfinex, sorry. And so basically, we looked at it and we said, you know, is this transaction possible? We talked to some PhDs, we got some articles published on behalf of universities who are working towards that, and we didn't really know. And the IRS didn't really come back and give a definite statement to a lot of people.
Okay.
And so what we're looking at right now is the basic transactions that are taxable events is if you're buying or selling cryptocurrencies, so if you're just trading it, if you're buying a product or service, and then also if you're using it to gift to other people. So all these different things, whether those different transactions happen, those are going to create taxable events. So mining as well.
Okay. And staking.
And staking. And staking. So anything, it is not, so when you stake, it is not until you liquidate. And, you know, I'm not a CPA, so I don't want to get...
so you're not a licensed CPA? You went to school for it?
Yeah, so I went to school for 4 years, going towards getting my master's in accounting. I was going to work at KPMG, which is one of the big 4 accounting firms. But working 90 hours studying this company every week was a little too much for me to get that. That being said, we have PhDs that review these tax laws, that look at the products, that look at the different tax laws, and they give me their professional. But basically, when you stake, it is my understanding that you staking isn't going to create a taxable event. You can get interest on that. Say, for example, you stake 100 Ethereum, you're getting 10%.
Yeah.
It's not until
or let's say Decred, for example, or Pivx, because right now they're not staking Ethereum just yet. But let's just say, like, take for example, like Pivx or Ethereum. I mean, Pivx or Decred.
Okay. Right. So a lot of things in the tax code have to do with what's called a rule, which is called wherewithal, which which means you have the cash in hand to pay this. And so if you don't, basically they say, sorry, my voice is on the top of my head, but basically if you don't have the ability to pay it in cash, they're not going to force liquidate it.
Yeah.
So say for example, you're holding Ethereum right now and you want to keep holding it because you want to hold your long-term capital gains. The IRS isn't going to say, well, you know, you owe $20,000 in back taxes, you're still holding that cryptocurrency, you have to liquidate your position in order to have you pay that off.
Okay.
So that's not, the IRS says you don't have to do that. But when you do liquidate, so for example, when you stake and get those coins, if you were to choose to liquidate those coins to put it into your bank account, that's when
we've got a guy
All right. So when you were saying that you had to move your coins from one exchange number 1 to exchange number 2 to exchange number 3, you're saying that sometimes it creates a taxable event, sometimes it doesn't? Is that what you were saying earlier?
No, I was saying that other products that are kind of similar to ours, which are our competitors, but we looked at the intricacies of their platform and tried to build
well, actually, now that I'm
so what they say,
it
which is just incorrect, it's not that they believe this, it's just that the platform doesn't work correctly. If you were to go from an exchange, and say you start on Coinbase, because most people do, and then you want to just send your Ethereum out on the Ethereum blockchain over to Binance.
Okay.
Coinbase, for example, when they send you a 1099, they think that you made a sale. You just sold that cryptocurrency and it's over. You actually send it over to your Binance account. And so our other competitors will say, you know, you did have a sale and then you bought it again on a different exchange. Well, if you held that cryptocurrency for like 9 months and then you moved it over to the other exchange and held that for, let's say, 5 months, that's well over a year. But both of those together, they're not going to equate to a year when it comes to the other software. And so what our software does, and what our patent pending process has, is we validate your transactions not by only looking at the exchanges, but looking at all relevant blockchains for your cryptocurrencies and making sure that you hold that long-term capital as possible.
Okay. So I understand now, so it makes sense. And I do agree with you that just because I move my money from one exchange number 1 to exchange number 2 to exchange number 3, if I never liquidated the position, it's basically moving from one wallet to the next wallet to the next wallet. Nothing ever happens.
If you were to put your money from one bank account and you cash it out in an ATM, is it still your money? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, it doesn't change hands. If it's not changing hands with anybody, it's not changing form, then it should stay in the long-term capital.
Okay.
I'm just happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Going through taxes, it's something that you have to do manually right now. You get the statements from one exchange that it left, and then I would look on my other statements at the other exchange to see that it's entered. Right, and calculate the amount of time. So that's a big win.
Okay, so talk about this tax token software. Is it a software? Is it a token? Is it a what is it?
Right. So we wanted to do a token sale originally, but we being close to taxes wanted to make sure we were SEC and IRS compliant with everything. So we're working towards that. We've been speaking or basically had inquiries by the SEC because, you know, we got on the front page of the business section of the Washington Post and it said tax token, right? And so the SEC comes knocking and they're like, "You guys selling securities? What's going on?" And so basically we've been talking to the number one different lawyers in the space and asking, you know, in the United States, can you do an ICO right now? And, you know, we've looked at talks from the CFTC and the SEC that happened last week. And although they were, you know, conservative in their approach, not bringing the hammer down too hard, the SEC chairman did say everything that he sees right now is basically a security. And so because of that, you know, we've talked to our lawyers and other lawyers in the space, and they said, you know, the regulatory environment most likely is coming, but when it comes, they're not trying to shut down all ICOs. They're just trying to make sure people don't get scammed.
Yeah.
And so what you're going to see is a lot of good products, good ICOs come out to fruition because they go through the necessary KYC, AML compliance, and because of that, when that moment comes, we would love to do our tokens. As of right now, we're just doing private funding.
Okay, so right now it's just software, and you guys are just seeking the traditional private funding route to do that. Okay, so can you walk us through, because we are business owners, right? And we are one of the first cryptocurrency businesses that we know of that accepts any cryptocurrency. Like, you know, like in the past, you have cryptocurrency business that accept, you know, Bitcoin or Ethereum only. We accept anything that trades over $1 million a day. You know, I mean, obviously, if something only trades $10 a day, it doesn't have any use. Yeah, but anything that trades over $1 million a day in a 24-hour period, then we'll accept it, and we really don't care what it is. You know.
Yeah.
So we'll have sales, and maybe they're internet sales, and they come from different places. So there's different sales tax laws. How would a company like us benefit from the software or approach the software?
Yeah, and not just benefit from your software, right? But how does that process look? Can you walk me through, like, if we sell a home study course or a product or a service from our business, how does that work? How does that get inputted into your software, and what does it look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two basic things that you could do that you gentlemen could do when you get the cryptocurrency. The first one's automatically liquidate it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's pretty simple. You're going to take, you know, whatever it brought over to your wallet for, or whatever exchange that you brought it into, and that would liquidate, and that would be your taxable net. That's easy to calculate for the most part, right? Because there isn't a change in discrepancy when it comes to appreciation or depreciation. If you guys are holding all the different tokens, then what you're going to have to do is I know it's a payment, but it will actually turn into a capital asset at that exact moment as well. So say you're holding, you know, 50 different tokens, and all of them are going up and down. When you sell those tokens on your 8949 form and on Schedule D, you're going to say, here are the gains or the losses that I made on those specific tokens.
Yeah.
And then those are all going to have to file through in the transaction. So you can absolutely do that for you, but that's what you're doing.
All right. So far, all I'm seeing right now is me going into my exchange account and either receiving the funds and selling it.
Right.
Is there a spreadsheet here? Like, how does the information get into your system? So I don't have to file these things, or turn it out for me.
So, go ahead.
Is it a software we download and then we use it and it transmits the data to you?
Yeah.
What is the actual product?
Absolutely. So it is an online application. So you just go to app.taxtoken.io. We're actually running our beta right now. It's free for the first 1,000 people. But we actually are talking with our marketers and our investors, and we might do the product for free for an entire year, just to increase market share. But what you do is you just log on, register, go back to your email, confirm, and then you're going to put in your different API keys when it comes to the exchanges, or your public keys when it comes to your wallets. So, you know, I would send you over your QR code, cryptocurrency. You would just send that over to me, and we would scan, let's say Ether scan, and we would say, we saw this transaction happen, look at the gas fee, subtract it, do those transactions. Yeah, so you fill in your relevant API keys, you click go. In total, I'm going to guess it's 10 clicks, pretty easy in this process. And then we do all the transactions for you. It literally prints out to your 8949 and your Schedule D form line.
Okay, just really for the business owners and the individuals out there watching this, they may not know what those forms are because their CPAs are doing it. So can you just briefly explain what those forms are?
Yeah. So an 8949 form is for capital assets. It's basically, it's kind of annoying for us, but we all know that every cryptocurrency has a different address. It's all cryptographically sealed. So because of that, every single transaction, even if you have 50 Ethereum, every Ethereum is different. So every line item is going to have a different trade address. So your 8949 form is every specific identity when it comes to all the different transactions. So if you're, you know, a miner or an arbitrage trader, or just a trader that's trading like 50 times a day, you're going to fill out literally hundreds and hundreds of lines that will take you hours and hours. So we do that for you. When it comes to the Schedule D, that's where you have all your different things. You could have stocks, you could have capital assets. If you're in real estate, you can have your cryptocurrencies, and that's where you're going to plug your short-term and your long-term capital gains purchases.
Okay, now, when you say that, right, when you say we are going to figure that out, can you clarify, is that you, a human, that's going to do it, or is it the software that's going to do it?
No, it's the software.
Okay.
So everything's a do-it-yourself software for us. We have a new feature that's going to roll out in 2 weeks that's going to drastically differentiate us from our competitors, which is smart joining, which means we'll make recommendations for every transaction that you think should happen. When it comes to actually buying or selling cryptocurrencies, that's very easy to pinpoint. Let's say you're going wallet to wallet, or there's a transaction that looks like a gift, so you're sending it to your friends or family. We're going to make those recommendations and say, hey, did you mean for this to be a gift? Did you mean to send this transaction to your other wallet? And then you just go through, you click yes, and it's pretty easy for us to figure that out. If you go through all the different transactions, then it'll autofill those forms and you're good to go.
Man, I wish we had this the last 3 months. We've been busting our ass trying to compile all the tax data and the cost basis for our business, you know?
Yeah. So along the same lines, how do you know when a transaction is coming in? Is that income or is that cost basis? How does your software distinguish different types of transactions?
Right. Absolutely. So with you guys, with you being a business, you're going to have a specific, I'm going to guess, a cryptocurrency wallet that comes in that's for your business, right? That, this is income.
Yeah, but that was my next question, is that whenever we receive payments, like for example, like our cryptocurrency investing bootcamp, they registration fee is $25,000. So whenever somebody registers to attend our 4-day cryptocurrency investing bootcamps, right? What happens is sometimes they'll send us just for security reasons, they may send us like a test deposit. A test transaction was like $10, and then once we confirm with the client, the customer on Skype, face to face, that is correct, right? Then they'll some of them will send like $5,000, and then they'll send $10,000 the next day, and they'll send $5,000 the next day, and another $5,000. Now, if some of our customers, they'll send us one chunk of all at one time after the test transaction, but some of them will have to move from one wallet to another wallet to exchange. So we might receive 4 or 5 transactions just to pay for that $25,000 registration fee. So does your tax accounting software account for all that?
Yeah, it does. So basically it'll say, hey, you'll have this wallet. You'll say this is an income-based specific wallet. And when the transactions come in, if that's that $5,000 and it was, Thanksgiving and it went from $5,000 to $10,000 super fast because it doubled, that $5,000 is going to be a long-term capital gain, but it will also split up the long-term capital gain holdings and what you got it in as payment.
Okay, so it calculates the cost basis the minute it receives the payment, and then it also calculates the profits as long-term or short-term capital gains. Okay.
As well as the income received by the profit.
Right, so basically what will happen is you bring in that income, your first transaction is $5,000. That's going to be ordinary income, but your cost basis will now be $5,000. Now when that $5,000 goes to $10,000, hopefully, that's going to be your long-term capital gain, but that $5,000 income is going to be separate.
Okay, so now let me ask you this, right? So you're saying that, okay, so let's say that whenever we take let's say that we do not convert that $25,000 in cryptocurrencies for the registration fee, we don't convert it into US dollars just yet. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, right? If we need to pay bills, then we convert it right away. If not, then we let it sit there, right? And then what happens if we take that and then we send it to one primary wallet and take it off the exchange into a hardware wallet? Coinbase will send it out, and then it splits it up into a bunch of transactions before it ends up, it fans out into a blockchain, and then it reassembles back at the hardware wallet. Does your software take that into account? That's like an HD wallet feature or function just for security reasons?
I'm going to have to ask you to re-explain it again. We do pooling transactions, which is something that I think Nichols was describing, which is when you have Coinbase, for example, your wallet is not one wallet, and that's why Coinbase doesn't get hacked. It's because you have multiple different wallets inside your own Coinbase account. And also, it's really terrible for Coinbase or the users because you're not going to keep your cost basis. Every time you do a transaction, unless you're literally holding those coins and not doing anything with them, you're going to move them all around. It's a giant wash. And so it's going to, for Coinbase, I'm really concerned and wondering what they're going to do for their individuals because they're going to tell people, I've held this for forever. And if they're trying to prove that to the IRS, they're going to say, actually, you've been doing, 50 transactions for one transaction.
When the reality is it's not.
It's not, yeah. They're just doing it for security reasons.
Yeah. So is your software taking that into account?
Yes, it is. Basically, we're going to see, how the IRS goes with this. This is where we get into gray area and, kind of the Wild West with regulation because is the IRS going to say, actually, we understand that for security reasons, just because the coins went in and out, you kept some amount of coins, that's okay? We hope to say yes, but right now there's not, it's really on the field as it's
okay. Hey, you want to take a minute and talk about the first in, first out accounting? Because I know you busted your ass on trying to figure that out with our CPAs. So talk about that, man.
Yeah, so I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
So when you make a sale and you end up with an inventory of cryptocurrency, you make another sale and then you do some other transactions, the cost basis needs to be figured out on that. And then when you make your sales, you have to figure out what inventory it is. So how do you keep track of what's the inventory? Do you allow, what are the laws? And how does your software deal with the first in, first out inventory?
And also, before you answer that, can you just explain to the audience what the FIFO or the first in, first out accounting is, and versus the other version of it?
So first in, first out accounting basically is, let's try to explain it in a clothing line, because usually that's, that type of industry. So you get a bunch of clothing and there's seasonal things. There's, winter, and then there's spring, there's summer. You want to try to sell as much clothing that's from each season before it goes out of season in order to have your transactions happen. So, if winter's right now and you're trying to sell your coats, you wouldn't immediately try to sell all of your new spring line. You try to get rid of your coats first, because it's going to go on discount and you're going to lose money. So first in, first out is the inventory that I originally got, let's say in October. You're going to try to get rid of October's inventory first before you move into the next month's November, December, January. And that's what first in, first out is. Last in, first out is kind of different. I don't really know a lot of people that do it for cryptocurrencies, but you can think of it as like a mining operation with coal. So if you have a giant stack of coal, you keep piling on, and there's going to be the center amount of coal that's been stuck there for forever. And that was your first in. You keep piling it on, the last in, and then you're taking it off the top. So that's last in, first out, and that means that the stuff that came in the last is actually what you're taking out and selling first.
Okay, I gotta give you credit for something, man. That is the best explanation of first in, first out versus last in, first out I've ever heard in my life. And I've been doing this for a while, man, so I'll give you credit for that. Nothing else, man. That is the best explanation I've ever heard. I'm gonna borrow that and steal that from you, man.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right, so what do you think, man?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
People don't really understand that.
Yeah.
So the last one, which can really save you on taxes, is specific identification. And that's for people that have very large portfolios. I want to explain it as far as, like, let's say 40 years ago, Berkshire Hathaway was trading for like $100. If you guys don't know, Berkshire Hathaway right now trades for about $300,000 a share. And so specific identification says that you know where that stock was and the identity of that stock or cryptocurrency. And in that case, you're not going to want, so say you bought new shares of Berkshire right now, and it's at $300,000, and it goes to $301,000. You're not going to sell your first share that you bought at $100 now to $300,000, because you're going to have this huge capital gains tax. You're going to instead choose to, if you want to sell your newer one in order to only do $1,000 in sale. And so if you guys can hold on, say for example you have your hardware wallets or something like that, if you want to hold on to your specific coins for the long term and take them off the server into your cold storage, you can specifically identify those coins as long-term capital gains and never have to pay taxes on those until you liquefy those specific crypto coins.
Okay.
Now, so what's the law? Do you have to do it one way or the other, or?
So, yeah, so you can't switch often. So you can't say, oh, it's tax advantageous this year for me to do last in, first out. This year it's first in, first out. I'm not specifically sure on the years, but I know you can't do it year to year. It might have to be every 3 years, every 2 years, something like that. So you guys in business, for example, you're going to have to choose first in, first out and say, okay, we're rolling with this for 3 years based off of our projections, rather than saying, okay, let's do first in, first out, last in, first out, weighted average, or specific identification. You can't just choose what makes it.
So we can elect specific identification if we believe that that's going to be the right way for us.
Yes, but you're stuck with that after, once you elect that. You're either going to talk with, maybe your tax strategist or tax attorney something. It's like, you know, if you guys think the business is going to continue like this, you should do this route for the next 3 years. And then after that, if it is 3 years, you change it and say, actually now it's better for us to do this differently.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because, you know, after the stock market crash in 2008, there was a lot of hedge funds that lied and misrepresented their earnings. And what they would do is that let's just say that they bought 100 shares of Apple stocks, and then it $100, and it went down to $50, and then they bought another 100 shares of the stock, and then it went back up to 100. And instead of reporting that they were at break even or a loss, they would say that they made a profit, but they only reported the second chunk of 200 shares and not the first chunk that was still under loss, but they hadn't liquidated it yet. But the net gain is that it's a loss, but they were reporting it as a profit. So after 2008, my understanding was that, like, I think it was, and do not quote me on this, okay? And I could be totally wrong because I'm not in this field that you're in, right? But my understanding was that the Dodd-Frank law made it so that the trades had to be first in, first out to prevent people in America from doing that. Because when I was making the Forex trades and things like that, it was always accounted as first in, first out. And then in Europe, they would still allow last in, first out. You know, so could you elaborate on that? Has some things changed or?
I know that there are differences between private companies and public companies. Obviously, you have Sarbanes-Oxley that came out widespread when 2001 happened. There are all the different, WorldCom and those different things collapsed. Arthur Anderson, and so. What you have on the balance sheets is unrealized capital gains or losses, but so you're going to look at diluted versus non-diluted EPS, which is earnings per share. Basically, you as an investor in your audience should go and look through all the different financials and say that there is potentially misrepresentation. That's getting more into stocks than anything else, but basically. When it comes to public, there are set specific rules that you might absolutely be correct. You can only do one way. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. But when it comes to private companies, there is specific ways that you can elect to do different options. And the reason that is because when it's a private company, you know your investors, or it's pretty close to the amount of people that you have. There's specific regulations with the SEC. And it's not just public people that can over the counter buy something from you.
Oh, okay. All right. So, do you have any other questions on that?
No, so just in my head here, I've done all my transactions. I log onto your software at taxtoken.com. Did I get that right? .io. And I put in, I basically give API keys to all my accounts, and it will basically figure out my income, my cost basis for things I sold, and prepare the sheets, the forms that I need to mail to the IRS.
Yes.
Now, okay, this sounds like too good to be true. Because we've been spending months trying to figure this stuff out. So what you're telling me is just like, it just sounds so too good to be true, right? So I gotta ask you some more questions about this, all right? If you guys are not running a crypto business and you have to deal with taxes coming in for products and service sales, you may not understand this, but this is a headache for us. At the end of every year, dealing with the taxes and trying to account for everything. And our accountant and financial engineer, he's like an executive with Santander. We got to account for everything, so it's like we're scrambling at the end of every year to figure out all the tax nuances, right? When you download this, how do I don't know what the word for this is, but how official are the statements or the documents that you give us? Because like when I trade stocks at brokerage firms such as like Interactive Brokers or TradeStation or TD Ameritrade, any of those brokers, right? When they give you the profit and loss statements at the end of the year, they always just say have a disclaimer that says, obviously for liability reasons they want to protect themselves, so they always say that, hey, you know what? We did our best to give you the most accurate information. This is not guaranteed to be correct or accurate. Check with your CPA or an accountant. So what is the accuracy level of the reporting that you guys are providing through your software?
Well, so we have the same exact disclaimer too,
Yeah.
which is just, we are doing our best to have these transactions. Basically, where I can describe the efficiencies, especially you guys as a business, is, when we fly out to Hong Kong in the next couple weeks to one of our investors who's actually a very large scale 8-figure mining operation. And they're moving everything to Canada, but right now we're going over there to see them and talking and saying, how many CPAs do you have? Because we have $30–40 million in fixed assets running mining rigs.
Yeah.
And they're basically like, we have 12. That's a lot of CPAs, especially if you're experienced in cryptocurrencies. They didn't give me specific numbers, but I'm guessing that's anywhere between $100,000 to $120,000 a year to hire those people to work on full time. What we're going to have you do is, and what we talk to them and say, we might not be able to get you to zero CPAs. You always want somebody to sign off that's an official that, can say this is actually now accurate. But instead of 12, we can knock it down to 3. And so because of that, with you guys, and it's going to be, if you guys are using one CPA, instead of being maybe 500 hours, it's going to be 100.
Okay.
Hours are expensive,
Yeah.
CPAs are filling out $300 an hour, and so when it comes to that, we're just making it more efficient to give to your CPA and say, hey, look at these transactions, here's the line item by line item, here's the formulas for how it's being calculated. If you agree with the formulas, then in fact the entire spreadsheet and the printout of your form should be right.
Okay. I'm shaking my head here because we have this tax stuff has been killing us in our business and it's sucking up all our time from trading because we have to account for all the tax transactions in our businesses. So if somebody listens to this and they're interested in using your software, your platform, getting in touch with you, what is the best way to get in touch with you or learn more about tax tokens?
Yeah. So. TaxToken.io is the website if you want to reach out to us if you have any questions. We're doing the beta, so we'd love to hear the problems that you have to make sure that we in fact are as accurate as possible. You can go to support@taxtoken.io, or if you have a comment, you can do contact@taxtoken.io, or just reach out to us. We're on LinkedIn, all social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and if you ask a question, we're happy. We'd love to help you guys.
Well, thanks for joining us here at the Bitcoin Blockchain Cryptocurrency Super Conference here in Dallas and sharing what you guys are doing. I think this is huge. If you guys are, we cannot buy or sell recommendations on our channel according to our securities lawyer, but we can recommend using tax software. I think we should be able to recommend using tax software that you guys provide to help with traders and investors to make their tax reporting more accurate. So thanks for joining us, Nathan. And in the future, if our audience has any more questions, we'll more than likely bring you back, or we have questions, we'll bring you back.
Absolutely.
Right? All right. So if you guys like this type of boots on the ground investing approach that we have on our channel, where we actually go meet real live people and ask them about their projects and about their services and their products in the cryptocurrency space, make sure you go to www.cryptocurrency.market/newsletter and follow our channel. Subscribe to us, and you can follow me on Twitter @HeyTaiZen. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.